Hey guys, what's going on? It's Stef here. I hope you've been well. I wish I could say the same, but I have been sick like twice since the last time I saw you, so that's fun. But anyway, we are long overdue for a metal detecting, relic hunting adventure. This week's episode is not a huge departure from what I normally do. I am in the woods looking for artifacts and coins from the 1700s and even earlier if I can manage it. Now, today's video consists of two very short hunts that I've decided to smash together into one video. And you'll see why the first hunt was cut short in just a few minutes. But as usual, you know me, I don't want to give you any spoilers, so let's hop in. Well, I've got a low conductor here, but it seems to be a sizable target, so this could get interesting. We shall see what it is. So this was my target. It's a nondescript copper brass alloy piece, maybe part of a spoon bowl, which would make sense considering everything else I found in the hole. Check all this out. Some really beautiful pieces of porcelain here. Definitely gonna keep those. May as well keep the other pieces too, why not? And then the last thing I pulled out was this piece here, which I wish I could just have some sunlight. That's gonna have to do. That's the top of a very, very old bottle. It's about the coolest part you can get, in my opinion. I absolutely love that. I can try not to scratch myself, that would be great. Trying to see what color it is here. It looks like it's a deep olive green, which is actually referred to as black glass. So that is a super cool piece. That was definitely worth digging the hole for that tiny bit of the spoon. I love it. Very, very nice signal right here. Ooh, I can't wait to see what it is. I had a feeling it might be one of these, given how nice and tight the trace was, and the numbers, and looks like it's that beautiful patina. We'll see if it has a pattern. It's a big old 1700s coat button. What we refer to in the hobby is a dandy button, because normally they're fancy. Although at this site, for some reason, generally they are plain, which is odd. Although this would have had a lot of gold gilding on it or silver wash to make it fancy even without a design. So let me not jump to conclusions. I am going to brush that off, see if I can get an image. Oh, look at how off-centered the shank is. I love when that happens. It's like, you know, you had one job. Oh, 1700s greatness. Okay, I'll be right back. And there we have it. There's the back. Just looking at that hilarious shank again. I absolutely love that. That's so funny. I might even display it that side up because I see nothing on this side. It doesn't mean I won't when I get home and clean it, but the fanciest thing about this button is that it has a beveled edge, which is kind of cool. And it's a really thick one too. A very quality dandy button. Again, though, I don't see a pattern, but you never know. Might see something come through when I get home, but in any case, great find and kind of a funny one too. Nice loud and proud signal in the 20s mixed with some iron here. Let's find out what it is. I just found my favorite thing. Guys, take a look at this. It was right under this rock, which I actually hit. We have a tiny, tiny little buckle frame here. Oh my God. Wow. That's awesome. I don't know if that's going to be a knee buckle or a very early shoe buckle. There's really no way to know. But there is a pin terminal running down the center there. Oh, you guys know how happy I am with that. Colonial buckles are my absolute favorite favorite relic to find. Let me recheck the hole for the innards. And I don't know if they're going to be there. They were probably iron, but oh my goodness, that absolutely makes my day. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. Well, I'm standing up because I needed to whip out the toilet paper, and it's not for what you think. For some reason, as soon as I shut the camera off, I had the worst nosebleed I've had in years. Sorry if you're squeamish, there's blood all over the leaves, even on the leaf in the hole. Anyway, very strange reaction from me, even though it is like my favorite thing to find. I don't normally get nosebleeds, so that was kind of strange. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure the age of this buckle. If the innards were present, it would be much easier to date this. If it had a big long stud shape, that would be like 1660 to 1690. But because we don't have the innards telling us what type of shape and pin that it had, we can't really get a solid date. I will say, the smaller the buckles, typically the older. And considering where I am, I would probably say this falls in the 1690 to 1720 category, somewhere in there. Or it really is even older at 1660 to 1690. So we'll call this 1660 to 1720. How's that? We'll just split the difference there. Or widen the date range, rather. That is fantastic. Definitely not horse tack. Definitely worn on the shoes, boots, or possibly a knee buckle, because sometimes you will find knee buckles that have the pin terminal running this way instead of the long way, if that makes any sense to you guys. It probably should for some of you who metal detect Colonial sites, but anyway, wow, that absolutely makes my day. I love that. So, I'm really sorry if I grossed anybody out with that blood, but let me tell you, this hunt got cut short because I bled so much that I was lightheaded after that, and I needed to go home. And thankfully, this site is about 5 minutes from my house, so I was able to do so quickly and then just conk out. Yeah. Humidifier, I know, I've got it set up, I'm good now. Anyway, on to hunt number 2. Have a pretty solid target here. We'll take a look together. It's in the 50s. 40s, excuse me. And all around it, there's a bunch of iron. With something non-ferrous in the middle of all that garbage. So hopefully something good, something old, or something interesting. I'll take any of it. Well, that signal, that last one, was a disappointment. Hopefully I remembered to keep the clip anyway, once I go back and look at all this footage. But anyway, junk. And then I got like a 24, 25 signal. It's coming up like 8 inches down. And there we have it. I'm assuming it's going to be a button. Unless it's a nickel, but I doubt it. Yeah, it's a button. It is a button. Which I would certainly prefer to find over almost any nickels. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say that. But this is an early to mid-1700s site that I'm at, so that tracks. Let me see, is that tomback? It rang up so low. I believe it is, because it looks like it has a little hump right there underneath the shank post, or underneath the shank, rather. So that will be probably maybe mid to late 1700s. I need some light. There we go. Not much to look at right now, but it'll probably clean up all shiny and looking new. Very good. So normally this area right here is flowing with water. It's a little stream, but it is completely dried up because we haven't had rain in a while, so I've never really been able to detect around it. But I just got this signal. I moved some of the leaves aside because the leaf litter is actually about 3 or 4 inches deep right now. Probably not translating to camera well, but anyway, here's the signal. Looks pretty good to me. We'll see what it is. Ugh. What a deep, mucky, yucky hole that was. You can't really tell, but this is about a 10-inch hole, and it's a pretty tiny item. I've barely looked at it, but I do believe it's a button, even though it rang up kind of high for one that size. Hopefully it's not a rivet. I can't quite feel what's going on with the back yet. Bear with me. I do think it's a button. Maybe? Actually, no, I am thinking it's half of a rivet. Ugh, that sucks. That just sucks all the way. That's what it is. You know, I can't do this one-handed. Let me clean it up, and I'll come back if it is indeed a button. But if it's just half of a rivet, we'll keep moving, because that's not super exciting. That would be horse tack, which, you know, doesn't excite me too much unless it's a nice, pretty bridal rosette or something like that. But, yeah, I'll come back with you if it is a button. I can't really see exactly what this is here. So, be back with you if it is. If it's not, we'll move on to the next. Well, I like it a whole lot more now. Check it out. This is a lead pewter button, easily from the 1700s. You can even see the little cast seam right there. This would have been made in a mold, along with several other buttons. And I've said it before in my videos that I hate pewter because it crumbles. But here's the thing, when you find it out of water, which really this is underwater 90% of the time during the year, they come out in exquisite condition. I only wish it had the decency to have a USA on the front of this button. Wouldn't that be awesome if it was a Continental Army button, but it's not. But I will say, easily, hands down, my best preserved lead pewter button. Look at that wonky shank. It's just flapped over like that. Okay, now I really, really like that. And again, just definitely my best example of a lead pewter button with absolutely no corrosion, because this was hidden away from the oxygen that would have helped this to corrode. So it's actually a fantastic find in my book. I know it might not seem much to you know, the typical viewer, but for me, that's a big win. And so I guess I will keep detecting along this little stream, or not so much of one right now, see if I can find anything else that was preserved and saved by the muck. I am genuinely surprised with what I just dug. It was coming up maybe a 24, 25 of the Manticore, but it was tracing directly on top of the lower ferrous limits, which I have set it to. So sometimes large iron will come through, but I was fondling this for a couple minutes, and I have decided, taking a really close look at it and the curvature, this is actually an iron shoe buckle frame. We really don't find those a whole lot because as detectorists, we tend to avoid iron because normally it's junk, but this really is not. Don't know how well it's going to clean up. I think you can see the hole for the pin terminal right there, or it could just be corrosion. But at first I really thought it was a horse tack buckle, but that curvature completely tells me otherwise. So I have been on quite the buckle tear this fall, and that makes me so happy. I know I don't sound super excited, but that's because I don't think this is going to clean up very well. But I could be wrong. I could get surprised, and if I am surprised, hopefully by now I can put a restored photo on the screen for you. But yeah, that, you know, that that little square of iron makes my day. That is awesome. And that is why I investigate weird signals. Could be an iron shoe buckle. You never know. That's awesome. Okay, it sounds like I have a large target here. We'll take a look together. Yeah, I can still hear it 6 or 8 inches off the ground, which means that it is indeed a larger item. Watch me eat my words, but your depth indicator on the metal detector, any metal detector you use, is based on something the size of a coin, okay? So if you have something that's small, teeny tiny, like a 22 bullet's a great example. We dig them all. We hate them. They might actually show, you know, say you have one that's 2 inches in the ground, it might look like it's 8 inches in the ground, okay? And then if you have a large item that's really deep, it could look shallower. So I think it's something large and deeper what the machine is telling me. So let's check it out. I knew this was going to happen. I have to eat my words. It was shallow. Anyway, all right, well, it sounded bigger to me than it was, but it's still a big target. That looks like a big old dandy button. Haven't looked at it yet. We shall see. Yeah, it's nice and thin like a dandy. Oh, look, it has a beautiful design. Oh, that's awesome. They looked really stunning on a big overcoat. And it still has the shank and everything. That is phenomenal. Let me clean that up and I'll be right back with it. That's going to be a stunner. All right, well, there you have it. There's the back. Full shank, still intact. And the front definitely had a beautiful pattern, but unfortunately, as you can see here, it's just kind of chipping because it must have been exposed to a ton of moisture. It is in a lowland type of area. This is actually kind of a ditch right now, and I'm behind a cellar hole, so I don't know if there was another structure back here that I just hadn't swung over yet, evidently, because that was a really clear signal, so, and not very deep. So I think any metal detector that I have ever owned would have had no problem hearing this. But yeah, so I think I might even actually have a match to this, which I found maybe a quarter mile away, but tough to say until I can actually properly clean it up. I'm not going to be able to use my typical method of a brass brush on here because I think it's really going to destroy it. So I'm going to have to let it dry out, toothpick the dirt off, and we'll see where we get. Hopefully it is well worth a close-up shot of it post-cleaning, but if not, we'll just enjoy it the way it is right here, right now. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have and you haven't already done so, please go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss a video from me in the future. It is always so encouraging to watch the channel thrive and grow, and that's thanks to you guys who want to see more content from me. So it's very much appreciated. And also, for my regular viewers, I just wanted to give you such a sincere thank you for sticking with me this year. I know the content hasn't been consistent, and let me tell you, as a content creator, nothing hurts my soul more than not putting out a weekly long format video like this. Now, I will say on a positive note, this past weekend, or was it the weekend before? I don't know. Early December, I went to North Carolina for Dig Stock 10, which was an artifact hunt, and I filmed not a single thing. Yes, you heard that right, I took an actual vacation. Frankly, it's just logistically very difficult to get anything done unless you have a GoPro, so. But anyway, yours truly dug a couple of absolute smokers. I will put them on the screen for you right now in case you haven't seen my other social media posts. This was such a fun event, and I don't know of anybody who got completely skunked. If I had to guess, we had 50 to 100 points come out of the ground. It was amazing. I've always wanted to do it. So psyched about that. But moving backwards in time, you can probably tell I'm still a little bit froggy. I was very, very, very sick before Dig Stock. Didn't think I'd get a chance to go. Certainly didn't have any time to edit. I just wanted to rest and make sure that I would still be able to get to the event, which thankfully I did because I felt better like the day before we left. It couldn't have been any more last minute. So, yep, that's been my last couple of weeks in a nutshell for you. I was super duper sick and then I went on vacation. Now, I do expect to put at least 1 to 2 more videos out before the end of the year, and one of them is going to be the annual top 10, 20, I haven't decided yet, finds of 2024. But that is quite enough yapping from me. Just wanted to give you a little life update and let you know where I was the last couple of weeks. I hope you get that last bucket lister for 2024, and we'll see you next time.